Good evening, I'm Tim and Tedium. I'll be presenting my individual assignment on accident analysis and prevention. After reviewing the article from the statistics of road accident and fatality during the monitoring control order period, one can clearly see that the road safety issues occurring in Malaysia is not an infrastructure problem, but rather a behavior problem. And as such, I have recommended 3 measures to ensure road user safety during the MCO period. Measure 1 talks about road safety awareness and education. The first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance, according to Nathaniel Brenner. The information on the importance of road safety should be taken to everyone through various means, through schools, social media platforms, open air awareness, drivers training, riders training. It is essential that everyone gets to know the importance of the stop sign, the importance of the go sign, the traffic lights, the traffic signs in terms of speed limits, and not only the importance of road safety regulations, but also the effects in terms of disobeying these rules, how dangerous they are, not only the risks it poses to the driver himself, but also how it endangers the lives of others in terms of violation. On the aspect of education on the road safety awareness, since the police are the first respondents in case of accident, I recommended training them with first aid skills to be a life-sustaining measure. In case of any accident, the first group that runs to the scene are the police. And because the police are always the first, it is essential that we train them with first aid skills that they will serve as life sustainers. As a pre-crash or crash prevention measure, like I said, awareness through schools, social media, open air awareness, visiting the various religious centers to involve everybody, because road safety is a public health issue, and as such, everyone has to be involved, not only stakeholders or research institutions. And also educating and training police officers, traffic police officers to provide first aid knowledge in terms of crash or injury prevention during the crash period. We talk about the use of restraints in terms of seat belts, airbags, speed limits. If road users are aware of how to use the various safety equipment in vehicles, besides, if they are aware of the importance and how these things save lives, wearing of seat belts will prevent occupants of vehicles from jumping or flying through windows in terms of or in an event of crash. And the airbag will also save lives by reducing the severity of injuries. And knowing the importance of driving at the required speed limit will also not only save lives, but it will also reduce the number of accidents on our roads. As a post-crash or life-sustaining measure, recommend the police officer providing first aid, because they are the first responder, as we all can observe in terms of accident around. As a second measure, one of my recommendations, police inspection of vehicles. Carrying out vehicle inspection will help reduce the non-roadworthy and non-crash-worthy vehicles in the streets. This is clear that despite human behavior is the primary cause of accidents and fatality on roads, vehicular factor or the vehicle factor still remains a contributory factor to road accident, and as such, addressing this will also be a significant gain or boost for the road safety sector. The measure of removing non-roadworthy and non-crashworthy vehicles will significantly reduce, one, the severity of injuries, and also it will reduce the fatalities during accident, thus improving road user safety. It will reduce or it will remove all of the cars that are non-roadworthy, that are non-crashworthy. We will save lives and will reduce the severity of injuries in the event of accident. As a pre-crash or crash prevention measure, talk of banning of aged vehicles. Aged vehicles talk about vehicles that no longer meet roadworthiness or crashworthiness in terms of condition. Probably seat belts are no longer holding, tires, brakes, and things are all old, all vehicles that are 10 years old or older. In terms of crash or injury prevention during the crash, we'll see occupant restraints. If we remove all of the non-roadworthy and non-crashworthy vehicles off our streets, occupants of vehicle during accident will not fly through the window because seat belts will be put on. Seat belts will function, and all of the minimum standards of minimum safety standards will be adhered to by the roadworthy and the crashworthy vehicles, thereby minimizing or reducing the severity of injuries. As a post-crash or life-sustaining measure, roadworthy or crashworthy vehicles will reduce accidents and the severity of injuries. Down to our final recommendation or measure in order to ensure or improve road user safety during the monitoring control order period, we have legislate or introduce traffic code with stricter penalty on reckless driving. To improve the safety of road users during the monitoring control order period, higher fines need to be imposed along with rigorous engagement from police in prioritizing or penalizing violators who break traffic rules. It is clear that reckless driving or neglecting safety rules has become a habit, and in order to break such habit, law enforcers need to come up with rigorous engagement through penalizing violators who break traffic rules. In addition to accomplishing this measure, a traffic code could be established to speedily investigate traffic cases. If traffic cases are investigated and violators are penalized, it will serve as warning to other violators to desist, thereby reducing the level of accident caused by human factors. Like Sarah said, anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. When there is less punishment, or when there is no severe punishment, anyone who consider violating. As a pre-crash or crash prevention measure, without introducing traffic safety codes of higher fines, without a suspending lesson that could lead to revoking some lessons and establishing of our traffic code. As a crash or injury prevention during the crash measure, without speedily investigating traffic cases to show law enforcement. If the laws are enforced on the scene or immediately after an accident, violators be penalized. It will send a signal to other violators that the issue of road safety is of paramount concern to state and not only institution. As a post-crash or less sustaining measure, or imposing high fines on traffic safety violators. With the three measures recommended so far, I believe that when implemented, road user safety can be improved, especially during the monitoring control period or monitoring control order period. Measure 1, road safety awareness. Measure 2, inspection of vehicles in terms of roadworthiness and crashworthiness. And the third one, I talk about introducing traffic code with straight up penalty on reckless driver. Thank you.